What's up, Navigating Academia family? This is your buddy Dr. J. Phoenix Singh, your personal academic mentor, coming to you to be able to answer a valued viewer's question. Really excited for this one today. I so appreciate your guys' trust anytime you reach out with a question that specifically has to do with a phenomenon that maybe many people are going through right now, and you are brave enough to be able to share your current situation in terms of a difficult decision you need to make or something that maybe you're emotionally struggling with a little bit that has to do with academia in some way, shape, or form. And so that is the nature of the question that I'm going to be answering today, which is from Sarah. Sarah, thank you so much for asking this question. This question was posted on one of my videos, which was actually our 7,000 subscriber thank you email. Obviously, per usual, guys, if you have individual questions that you believe the entire Navigating Academia community would be interested in, be sure to put them down in the comments below. You can also just comment if you liked the video, if you didn't like the video. Honestly, whatever it is, it helps the algorithm. And also be sure to smash that thumbs up button or subscribe to the channel if you have not already. All of it helps us out on YouTube, helps us to be able to get our message out to as many people as possible, which for us is always the goal. So let's go ahead and get into it. So this is Sarah's question here. She says, "Hi, Dr. Singh. I've been feeling a bit down, so like a bit sad, about going to graduate school and not getting into my first choice or even my second choice. I'm going to attend William James College this upcoming fall, and I want to feel excited and celebrate, but it's difficult to actually try to feel good when all these online forums, specifically Reddit and SDN, are saying how bad it is, how it is a bad choice to go there because it's a freestanding professional school with larger cohorts." Okay, so Sarah, I've been thinking about this for you since last night. Daria and I were sitting around having dinner, and I was telling her, what I was thinking about saying in terms of this video to you, Sarah, because this is something that so many people end up going through. Remember, Sarah, that last year was easily one of the most difficult years in recent memory to be able to get into any program. So for example, for clinical psych PhDs, so I know not a PsyD, but PhDs, the acceptance rates were hovering anywhere between 0.5 to 2% depending on the program. And that is insane. Like, that's actually crazy. PsyD programs, the acceptance rates are usually higher, and last year they were lower in terms of other years when it comes to getting into PsyD programs, but they were still higher than acceptance rates for clinical psych PhD programs. So all that to say, the first thing that I want to tell you is that I'm really proud of you that you actually got into a program last year. That was a really tough year. The fact that you got in anywhere is absolutely fantastic. So I'm very, very proud of you for having been able to do that. So that's number one. The second thing is that I know, just like everybody else, what it feels like to have top choices of schools that you really want to get into, and unfortunately, you just don't get into the program. And part of that process of feeling not as excited as you otherwise would about the program you did get into is that just as that excitement is coming in, it is offset by these deep feelings of grief and loss. It's almost like we have to grieve the future that we planned that we won't have. It's almost like I have a friend of mine, a very near and dear friend, and she always imagined, her father walking her down the aisle when she got married. Her father, very unfortunately, this was many years ago, had a heart attack and passed away. And this was impossibly difficult for her to deal with at the time because simultaneously she desired with the rest of her family to celebrate her father's amazing life. But at the same time, it was a deep struggle because she had to grieve this future. She had always imagined, Sarah, for herself walking down that aisle, and now she knew for a fact it wasn't going to happen. So I'm sure that it can almost feel frustrating, or there's some cognitive dissonance in there, right? Between, on the one hand, saying, I want to celebrate, I want to be excited about this, and on the other, but that future that I had in mind for my first choice, maybe you're like me, Sarah, like I remember for undergrad, I got rejected from my top school undergrad. I, in my head, had imagined sitting around these quads. I really want to go to Brown University. So I was imagining sitting around the quads and, walking across, to these beautiful buildings and these things. And when I got rejected, I had to accept that that was not what my future was going to be. And that can be such a painful process to go through. So please know, Sarah, that you're not alone. I completely understand where you're coming from. And especially when you didn't get into that first choice, maybe in your head you've said, you know what, it's okay if I didn't get into the first one because it's acceptable to me to go to this second choice. And then when you also don't get accepted the second choice, this can be another layer of grief that then you have to deal with. Remember that when it comes to doctoral programs in psych, my recommendation is always to apply to no more than 3 to 5 programs, which there's a lot of advice out there to apply to a bunch. I've even seen people apply to as many as 13 to 20 programs, which is a gigantic mistake for reasons you'll learn about if you watch other videos on this channel. It's a really bad idea. And feel free to ask questions below if you've watched my other videos and you're still not clear why. But at the end of the day, keep in mind that people who usually post on things like Reddit or SDN or 4chan and these things, usually they represent individuals who fall into one of 3 categories. Number one, they're actually content area experts who can give you an objective view on things. You and I both know not many of those. The second are people who had a really phenomenally positive experience or they've got some skin in the game to be able to promote you, go into specific programs. And the third group of individuals are folks who had a terrible experience and they want to tell you all about how bad it is and all the negative things and this, that, and the other thing. Sounds to me like you're running into a lot of that third taxonomy, that third group of individuals. And keep in mind that for the most part, most of these threads and these things are not super closely monitored either for content. The thing is, so William James College was one that I remember when it used to be, before it was called William James College, it was called Massachusetts School of Professional Psychology. I remember when I was an undergrad, Sarah, and I actually had emails that would come to me all the time saying, learn more about the program, Massachusetts School of Professional Psychology, and so forth. And you're absolutely right. There are definitely these freestanding professional schools like Chicago School of Professional Psych or Argosy. There used to be Corinthian colleges. There's so many of these. And some people have a very negative impression of them and they view them as almost diploma mills insofar as oh, these guys just want our money, so on and so forth. Don't get me wrong, the majority of these programs, PsyD programs, are at private universities anyway, meaning that they're going to be expensive in any case. I'm a big believer in all of academia that if you just follow the money, you will learn so much about how the system operates and how you can excel in academia. A lot of people don't want to talk about that because we kind of view academia as this bastion, this tower of objectivity. But we need to embrace the fact that, yeah, that's the case sometimes, but oftentimes it's not. It's kind of sad. It's almost like Wizard of Oz to kind of pull that veil back, right? But I don't want you to think that William James College is a bad choice. I personally have experience with William James College. I actually went up there to be able to film a series of thought leader seminars back, I want to say in 2016. If it wasn't 2016, Sarah, it was 2017. And I was very impressed. I was very impressed by 2 things. Number one, by the quality of the actual, it has kind of one central building. That is a beautiful building with, beautiful accoutrements. I was very, very impressed, right? So I think it would be a nice place to be able to go to school. The second thing is that several of the faculty members who are there are individuals who within their areas of clinical practice really are kind of recognized national or international experts who I knew of but had not had the pleasure of meeting yet. So that was really cool for me. And remember, at the end of the day, the quality of your education when it comes to the PsyD is going to be determined by the faculty members more than anything else who are teaching you, and also the clinical opportunities that you get along the way, okay? So I want you to kind of find a way. It's going to take time. It's going to take processing. See a therapist if you've already seen a therapist. All psychologists need a psychologist. Said this in my previous video. But I want you to come away from this experience knowing that at the end of the day, the most important thing is you becoming a good therapist. You becoming a good psychologist is the number one thing that I'm concerned with for you. You can go to the best clinical psych program in the entire country and be a terrible therapist. And you can go to the worst clinical psych program in the country and be a truly phenomenal therapist. And obviously, I want you to be somebody who goes to a good program and is a phenomenal therapist. That is my active desire for you, as well as for everybody who watches the channel who is interested in going into the behavioral health sciences in some way, shape, or form, okay? I want you to focus more, not so much on the name of the school or other people's opinions of it. I want you to suck the marrow out of this program and spend the next several months before you end up going. Maybe you haven't moved to the Boston area yet. Spend the next several months doing a deep dive into the faculty members who are at that program. Take a look at the match rates, which hopefully you've done already. Find out where people have recently matched. Where are people going in terms of after they've passed their EPPP and these things? Are they in private practice? Are they working in clinics and hospitals? Are they working in prisons? Are they working somewhere else? Whatever it happens to be, and begin the process of replacing that grieving, which will take some time, with dreaming, right? What we know about the brain is that the more we focus on gratitude, the more we focus on optimism, the more we project out onto our future and we think about and expect good things to happen to us, the more that the central part of our brain right here, dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, will become activated. This is the part of the brain that's going to help us deal with those underlying emotions of negativity that we might be feeling right now. Maybe do some journaling, Sarah. Sit around. Good exercises to sit down. Think about somebody you really respect, maybe a religious figure, a political figure, whatever it is. Someone you really trust, maybe a grandparent, whoever. And invite, in your imagination, close your eyes, deep breathing, right? Invite them into the room, tell them the situation, and try to get a sense of what they would tell you about this situation, okay? And this idea that you are going to be okay, and it won't feel like it right now. Please know I've been in those situations myself. Things have a very good habit of working themselves out. They really do, I promise. So, all right, Sarah, that's what I've got for you, my friend. I hope you're having a great day so far, and just stick with it. Stick with it. You're going to be all right, okay? All right, everybody, God bless you. Be sure to be able to subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with your friends, colleagues, and students, especially if you know anybody like Sarah right now who's going through something like this, which I know kind of blows. But I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day, and don't forget to get out there, take chances, and be your best self. Peace.